Hey, yo, you, y'all, what up? What up? What up? Hey, yo, 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 what up? What up? This was definitely a spur of the moment. Yes, definitely a spur of the moment in regards to doing a live stream on this subject matter. But it just seemed as if now the time calls for it, the internet space calls for it. So here we are again. Excuse me. Now, with that said, I've talked about submission before in many of my videos and also on many live streams. But to be official about how many videos I've talked about submission, I've technically only done one official video talking about submission. I've only done one video officially talking about submission. Otherwise, I've brought it up in many of my other videos I have at this channel, but my official video about submission, it's just simply titled My Thoughts on Submission. And it was inspired by Soul Immortal. He has a channel called Immortal Minds and also a second channel called Conversations with Soul Immortal, if I'm not mistaken. But he did a video talking about submission. And I responded to that, but I saw it as more of an inspiration. Usually when you get someone saying respond, it's usually, based on some type of beef. And I made it clear that I have no beef with Soul Immortal in regards to the topic of submission. So he was actually one of the first YouTubers I wanted to do a follow-up video about. But given this whole fair use thing, that they got out here in these spaces, I could have utilized that, but I decided not to. That's not my thing. Hey, what's good, Golden Child? Good to see you in the building. Good to see you in the building, fam. I definitely got hey, what's good with you as well, Brown Do Life? I see y'all popping up in the building for your boy. That's what's up. Yeah, but we definitely gonna get that rolling here. And then let me see something while we're here. While you're here, Golden Child, we definitely got to get you on board with the moderator. I know you be at other channels modding, but you could be over here too when you get a chance to stop by. Gotta definitely get you a wrench over here for sure, fam. Oh, looks like Emma's up in the building. Oh, there you go. I see you, Emma. Hey, what's good, sweetie? Good to see you back up in the building. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy. So we definitely finna roll with this one real good today. But yeah, given what I've talked about with submission before, um, I just did a respond video. I called it more so an inspiration. And so I did that a couple of times where I just kind of was following up. But see, it kind of led to this. So here's what I mean by the couple of times. So I did the inspiration video for Immortal Minds. And then after that, I just went in on it even more because in my inspirational video that I did about submission, I just mainly talked about how, like Immortal Minds, I felt like, yo, I agree with what you're saying. I agree with what you're saying, Soul Immortal. And it was about this fact that, there's a stigma behind the word submission. And I get it with the modern day feminine gender, whether female or woman. They have the stigma about the word submission, given how it has been utilized, how it has been misinterpreted, how it has been more or less perverted, if you will. So we're gonna get it right this time, though. We definitely gonna get it right. But with that said, let's go forward with this. So how did I get it right on my end? Because in my first inspiration video that I did for Immortal Minds, basically what I said was, there's more to this idea of submission. And this idea is that, you got to have this cooperation. It's not just about submission, but not realizing it gets more broken down than that. But at least it was putting the idea out there that, yo, there's more to it than what everybody's been saying. You know what I'm saying? So that's how we're gonna do that. You know, I was just, that's how I was talking at that time. So I broke it down more, and I did a follow-up live stream talking about, you know, that there's actually 4 stages of submission. And I broke it down, and I could break it down to y'all once more here on this live stream. Won't go into detail. Why? Because I decided to make a playlist specifically talking about submission. So if y'all go into my playlist, there's a new playlist. Oh, yeah, if you go into my playlist section, there's a new playlist there titled Submission. So you'll see the video that Solo Mortal did at his channel talking about submission, and then in a chronological order, you'll see my follow-up video to his video about submission. And then after that, I did a live stream talking about submission. I did it with I had one that had a feature, and it really broke down submission. And then I took it a step further. I did a second live stream, and it just talked about, okay, what about the ones that really can't submit? What about the feminine gender that really can't submit? So I broke that down. So that's a follow-up live stream to the submission live stream that I did. And then as time went on, I believe Solo Mortal came out with another video talking about submission. It's one that was more up to date. It just he just uploaded that recently, because his previous submission video and my follow-up video to his video that took place like 2 years ago, given the date of this live stream. So he updated and he talked about his perspective of submission now. So we're going to talk about that. I'm going to break down his perspective. I'm gonna break down his perspective of submission as well in this live stream. And then, of course, just recently, if y'all look into the playlist that I just made called Submission, you'll also see a live stream that I just did at Black Ram 313's channel. And we talked about submission, and I broke down the 4 stages of submission at his channel. And what y'all get to see from that perspective is still the same talking points, but you can see how a large audience really gravitated to what I meant by submission. Most definitely. And y'all in the building, much love. I see y'all coming through. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Good to see y'all up in the building. What's good, Coco? What's good? Good to see you up in here. I believe this is your first time at my channel, if I'm not mistaken, but nevertheless, it's good to see you here as well, sweetie. Good to see you up in the building. Yeah, go ahead. Highlight your comment. Good to see you as well. Oh yeah, thanks for highlighting the Cash App and the PayPal's, Golden Child. I appreciate that, fam. Right on. Let's move forward with this. Oh yeah. You know, I appreciate that as well, Golden Child. Yeah, that definitely was some heat there, and we was just getting started. We kind of going to continue on with similar heat, because there's definitely more to this submission that I want to talk about, because like I said, the world has misunderstood it. So kind of look at this live stream as like the after party. Oh, hey, what up, fam? Yes, sir. Brother from another mother. Yes, sir. Good to see you, Ice. Oh, you said, no, I've been here before. Oh, okay. Okay, that's what's up, Coco. Well, it's good that you back here again, for sure. I'm glad to see you back, for sure. But yeah, let's roll. Let's get started. We're gonna talk about this. Yeah, I feel like I need to go live more. I've been seeing like my numbers, and you know, as much as I do uploads and everybody know me for uploads, a lot of people are starting to know me for doing live streams as well. So it's like, okay, if that's what it takes to keep the numbers up, that's what I'm gonna do. And obviously, you know, what I mean by keeping the numbers up is you know, folk want to see me live, and hey, it's cool. I could dig it. I love it. Y'all liking what I say? I like it that y'all here to hear what I got to say. But yeah, everything that I say is from the divine. I give myself no credit, no glory whatsoever. But let's get off into this, right? Let's get off into talking about this submission. Now, I think I said previously on one of my live streams about this whole submission, subjection, however way you want to look at it. I was like, let me break down some of the biblical ideas of submission. Now, it gets a little tricky with the biblical definitions, because see, here's the thing. Most people, when they talk about submission, they go off the Greek definitions of submission and not the Hebrew definitions of submission. Now, I really couldn't break down. I didn't have enough time to break down in the book of Strong's all the different forms of submission. For those who got the book of Strong's, y'all know what I'm talking about. And I'm not necessarily going to be bringing out the book of Strong's. This is not a church service. So just for those who be like, dude, finna sound like he finna preach. Well, nah, I ain't doing that, man. So like I said, you want to look this up for yourself, go ahead. Don't take my word for it, but I'm just letting you know from what I've gathered, like I sometimes say. Now, you look up some of the Old Testament, some of the Hebrew words of submission, and it really just means like a lot of humility, a lot of humbleness, bringing near. See, that's the main thing. Like submission in regards to submitting, bringing near, drawing near, presenting, being presentable, not of a burden, just surrendering. It talks about surrender. Some of the things that I brought up in regards to submission, reasoning, being very reasonable, docility, being very docile instead of hostile. So, that's kind of where it's going with this submission. It's a beautiful thing. It can be a very beautiful thing. There's nothing wrong with the word submission. It's just that people have taken it out of context and they've made it seem like it's degrading, it's slavery, and it's nothing like that. It has nothing to do with that at all. So ladies, if you hear someone talking about submission and it's not from an uplifting standpoint, then guess what? They're not talking about the right idea of submission. So in a nutshell, I sort of broke down some of the Hebrew breakdowns of submission. You can look this up for yourself. Don't take my word for it. I just wanted to give you an outline. But we're going to talk about the Greek side of the word submission, because the Greek side of the Bible, the biblical term of submission, is ironically what mainstream society uses to their stigmatizing end, to their criticizing end. Let me see what y'all saying in the chat first, because I gotta follow up with y'all. I'll be communicating with y'all in the chat. Let's see if I missed out on what y'all say. Hopefully I haven't. Let me see. Give me a second. Bear with me, especially those listening to this on the replay. All right, let's get back into this. Let me see. All right. Let me see. Yeah, Brand New Life, you said stigma on submission to their men, but not, you said stigma on submission to their men, but not the workplace. Communism in action. Oh yeah, pretty much. And then you also said, Brown Do Life, hidden in plain sight. Yeah, most definitely. Most definitely. Let's see what else. Catch up with y'all, what y'all been saying. Let me see. Scroll down. You said, Brown Do Life, thank you, God, for using theotherayj as a vessel for truth, clarity, and reason. Oh man, I humbly appreciate that, fam. Most definitely. Most definitely. I appreciate that. Let's see. Go on and check out some more. See what else everybody's saying. Okay, cool. Yep, exactly. Yeah. Y'all hit the like button. Golden Child letting y'all know what's good. Hit the like button, y'all. I appreciate that. We're trying to get that truth out there. I can't do this without y'all. I realize that the more I'm getting into the YouTube space, I can't do this without y'all. But I'm thankful that the Creator has used me as a vessel to get to this point to where y'all can look out for yours truly in regards to just hitting that like button. Now we're going to continue on because so I sort of broke down the Hebrew words for submission, and I guess to get right to the point, the main thing that hits home for me is just bringing near, to draw near, to bring something close. And out of this, it should be done with humility, docility, with reasoning, no burdens. There should be some obedience. And what that really means, because obedience can be offensive. That's another stigmatized word. But let's just Let's check this out. You know, you get the general word, it just means compliance with an order, request, or law, or submission to another's authority. But you get a lot of females that aren't women. They do this all the time in the workplace, just like Brown Do Life brought up earlier. Okay. And it says in the scripture, it says obedience is better than sacrifice. See, I know I brought up one stage of submission, which is surrender. That's part of what I believe is part of the 4 stages of submission that I will talk about again here in a few. But it says in scripture that obedience is better than sacrifice or surrender. You see? 1 second, y'all. All right, all right, all right. Let's get back into this. Says obedience in Hebrew. What does that say? It just really means it goes back to some of the things that we've talked about with docility, um, duteousness. So there's a sense of duty with submission. You know, there's a sense of honor. Yeah, a lot of duty, a lot of honor with that. You know, I'm not trying to add words to what I'm saying, but you think of duty, you usually think of like some type of honor, like with the duty. Like if it's not from a place of you feeling subjugated, usually obedience is like something that a feminine gender would do for a man, just from the standpoint of honoring him. You know, like an honor. It's a duty. It's something that I don't have a problem doing. And we can get more into this duty talk later on, because there's definitely a lot to say about a duteous feminine gender. You know, there's a lot to say that. There's a lot to say about that. And blessed is the one that is duteous towards the man in her life. So yeah, I just basically just talked to y'all about the Hebrew aspect of submission, and we just barely getting into the meat of this. I'm just on the outside. We ain't even getting started yet. We ain't even getting started. So make sure that you get your popcorn, your nachos, your hot dogs, and your soda, because this is about to be a doozy, a little side movie, not a bootleg, but definitely something that you're gonna like. So let's get going. So I just talked about the Hebrew side of submission, and so with Greek, you know, usually a lot of the words for Greek end up being more or less, if you kind of put a lot of these words together, it means to place yourself under. So like in regards to there's a scripture, let me see, it was in Ephesians. Let me see. I ain't, like I say, I ain't trying to preach y'all the you know, I ain't trying to do that, but I do want to at least talk about just to give y'all a lot of what I'm talking about, just in the good word. And so it's just like, and look, like for example, in Ephesians 5, chapter 5, verse 22, it starts with saying, wives, submit yourselves to your own husband as you do to the Lord. And that's just kind of the NIV version, which, you know, you could break down more. But basically, the Greek version of submission means to place yourself under. So here's where it means, ladies, this is actually to your benefit. The scripture where it says, wives, submit to your husbands. Okay. Now, if it's based on the Greek definition of the word submit, instead of saying wives, submit to your husbands, say wives, place yourself under your husband. That's a choice. That's a choice. You choose to place yourself under your husband. There's a reason why you wanted to place yourself under your husband. There's a will there. Okay. It says, wives, submit to your husbands. It doesn't say, husbands, make your wives submit. You see how that goes? So just to break down more of what I mean, like I said, it says, wives, place yourself under your husbands. It doesn't say, husbands, make your wives placed under you. The scripture doesn't say that. So this kind of helps with some of clearing, it kind of helps with clearing up some of the stigmatism in regards to submission. And like I said, we're just getting started. We just getting started. Emma, you said, I watched the live stream with Black Ram. You spoke about submission in depth. Oh, I appreciate that. Right on. So a lot of what I'm saying ain't gonna be new to a lot of what I'm saying. It's not gonna be new to some of y'all, and that's cool. So y'all up to speed with that. And yeah, I appreciate you checking out that live stream, Emma. Much love. I appreciate that. Let's keep rolling. Oh, you got that popcorn and the soda. Yeah, that's what's up, Emma. Yeah. All right. Now, but yeah, like I said, wives submit to your husband. It doesn't say husbands make your wives submit or make your wives place themselves under you. You know. Now, keep this in mind, right? Um, I've said before in my videos, sex is marriage. Now, what happens is you get a lot of these females that are women. They be like, "I'm not gonna submit to you if you're not my husband." Hold on 1 second, y'all. Yeah, you get oh my gosh, this is so funny, man. Woo, you get a lot of these females that are women, they always be like, I'm not gonna submit to him if he's not my husband. But if it's based on my biblical interpretation of how sex is marriage, he's technically already a husband because you had sex with him. You should already be placing yourself under him, or based on the Greek interpretation of submission. You should already be placing yourself under him, just based on the fact that you had sex with him. Or uh, did I get that right? Let me rewind that. I might have said that wrong. Okay, now, like I said, uh, sweetie, you already had sex with him. So technically, he is your husband. Based on my definition and my perspective of sex is marriage, you should already be placing yourself under him or submitting to him because you had sex with him. If you're talking about the Greek word of submission. Now, based on the Hebrew word of submission, which means, if you put the words together, presenting something, bringing something forward, being docile, being obedient, or being one of duty. You should already be doing these things for him because why? You already had sex with him. See, a lot of them want to be like, I'm not going to submit to him unless he signed those papers. I'm not going to submit to him unless he put out. Basically, fellas, she's not going to submit to you unless you trick. But even then, you're not going to get the submission. See, let's talk about this because see, I talked about this before at a live stream. I believe it was at DJ Kuda's live stream. But I brought up like, all these dudes talking about tricking, but they don't understand it's like Halloween, trick or treat. And you're doing a trick or treat for the monsters that are out there. This female that's not a woman is a monster. A real woman ain't trying to be a monster. She ain't trying to be a demon. But you got a trick for the treat from that demon or that monster. But see, let's take it a step further. If we're talking about what I'm talking about with marriage and sex is marriage, but see, these females that aren't women don't look at sex as marriage. They look at the signing of that paper as marriage. The signing of that paper. The trick for the treat. No, she wants you to trick for the treaty. Get it? She wants you to trick for the treaty. You got to sign a treaty with the demon. You got to sign a treaty with the monster, with the beast. You see how that goes? So the only way this monster is going to feel tamed is if you sign a treaty. But is it really a treaty? Tying down the beast with a rope. So this idea of being subdued, that's why some guys feel like they won't submit. You got to subdue them because of their beastly nature. But see, that's for a female that hasn't become a woman. She's going to be like the beast. But of course, at this channel, I uplift and support the feminine gender that's not trying to be like a beast. You're trying to be beautiful. You're trying to represent beauty. You want to be more of beauty instead of the beast. Beauty and the beast. Are you beauty or the beast? Yours truly wants beauty, not the beast. You see? So let's keep going. Okay, so it just bugs me up. So hopefully I kind of helped y'all out with that. And so, like I've said before, my first video, it was inspired by Soul Immortal that I did. And for those just coming in the chat right now, I got a new playlist set up. If y'all go to my playlist section at my channel, and it's just titled Submission, where I got the video that I was inspired by Soul Immortal from. You'll see that video that he did, and you'll see a follow-up of my video that I did about submission. You know, and so, and then it continues on to where you'll see a chronological order of live streams that I've done about submission, as well as the most recent one that I did about submission with Black Ram 313. Okay. Now, just in case someone doesn't know, the creator brought to me, and of course, when I say I'm really talking about the Most High. But you know, I brought up this idea of 4 stages of submission, because there was more to submission than just the word submission. But basically, there's still no getting around the word submission. But it does breathe into life how to address this subject matter of submission. And just, you know, at least it'll open up your eye to realize that you may have had it wrong the whole time. Even I. But at least now, things have been cleared, because given my 4 stages of submission, one is admission, the second stage is surrender, the third stage is cooperation, and then finally the last stage is subjection. And I broke it down into all those 4 stages, and y'all can check that out in my playlist titled Submission. Check it out. You'll see how I broke it down. But going forward, let's talk more on how I believe the world has misunderstood submission. I've sort of answered that question. You know, they want to be like, hey, Ray, how does the world misunderstand submission? Well, go check out my playlist Submission, and you'll see what I'm talking about. You know, but hey, what's good, Absalon? Good to see you in the building, fam. Much blessings, fam. Good to see you up in the building. Yeah, buddy. Always good to have you up in the building, fam. Yeah, shout out to you as well. Shout out to you as well, for sure. But let's talk more on this. Let's talk more. See, here's the thing. You got in life these assets and liabilities. But here's what I mean by this, because what I'm about to say, you've never heard nobody say this before. So here we go. She's an asset based on her assistance, and she's a liability if she's unreliable. Simple as that. That helps you out with everything you need to know about submission in a nutshell, based on what I broke down in regards to the Hebrew and the Greek definition of submission. She's an asset based on her assistance, based on how she puts herself under you to be of your assistance, or how she presents things to you, how she's docile, how she's obedient, or she's of duty. She's an asset then, but she's a liability if she's unreliable, meaning that you cannot rely on her. She's not trying to assist you. She's not trying to put herself under you. She's not trying to present things to you. She's not trying to be of duty. You know, another word for beautiful could also be dutiful, if you will. Think about that. And a lot of times from the masculine perspective, the masculine gender, she's not beautiful unless she's dutiful, you know, because that's what we need more in this life. Do you fellas agree with that? Put a 1 in the chat if you want her to show how beautiful she is by being dutiful. Now, if you look up the word dutiful, it means to conscientiously or obediently fulfilling one's duty. Her duty. She does that conscientiously or obediently. She's devoted. She's faithful. She's loyal. She's responsible. Now, this goes in line with where it is written how she's a helpmeet. It's not good that a man should be alone. I'll make her help me. She's being helpful. Even just saying that, that embodies what submission is all about. Because if she's not helping you, she's hurting you. She wants to hurt you. She's shown how unreliable she is. It hurts you to know how unreliable she is because she's not being submissive. She's not trying to be submissive. She's not trying to be helpful. See, if she's not trying to help you, fellas, she's not submissive. See, people want to make this so complicated, what the word submissive is. Even someone to say it's based on sexual things. Well, I won't submit unless he's a certain way in the bedroom, or he got to give me something to submit to. That's not the way it goes, sweetie. You just have to be submissive to him. It's not about him having something for you to submit to. You need to submit to him because that's the way you were designed to be. Those aren't beautiful, just bootiful, meaning just a bootyful. Yeah, they just all about having that booty. Now, see that, I think that is one in itself. I believe so because they all about booty. They're not about duty. So therefore, you don't really feel their beauty. You don't feel it like that. Because if she's just showing it's buffering, I'm buffering. Oh gosh. Woo. I'm buffering Brown Do Life. Ooh, thanks for letting me know. Oh man. How long was I buffering? Oh my goodness. Let me do this. Hold up. Dang, man. Hold up, y'all. Dang. It's jacked up, man. Oh, you said I'm back. Okay, so for a brief moment, I buffered. This gonna have to be one of them live streams. I'm definitely gonna have to edit. Man. About 1 minute. Ooh, Wando, about 1 minute. Oh, man, that's painful. That's painful. Dang. I'm actually in a bad area. I'm not gonna lie. Out here in Illinois, some of these parts ain't good in regards to signal. I'm gonna keep it a buck on that. Man. Woo wee. All right. Well, hopefully this don't buffer too much. I can see that's why some of my attention, some folk dropped out of the live stream because of the buffering. Dang. Well, anywho, we'll just roll on. Hopefully I don't buffer too much going forward. Worst case scenario, I will unplug this headset that I'm on right now. All right, I'm gonna continue on. I know a lot of y'all saying that I'm good. I appreciate that, Ice Turner. I appreciate that, Golden Child. All right. Dang, I gotta remember what I was saying now after that whole minute of talking, right? Oh man, well, this just means I can add this to other content to come, whatever y'all didn't hear. But let's continue on, I guess. What's the moral of the story? You know, it's about growing your vibration. It's about growing it. It's about increasing your vibration. You know, females will always be around. And some of those females want to be women in your life. Some of them do. Some of them do. So here's what I'm trying to get at with this. These females that don't want to be a woman in your life are realizing that men are not always going to be around. You see how that goes? You know the females are going to be around. And some of those females are going to want to be women in your life. But those same females that don't want to be women in your life are realizing that real men are not always going to be around. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna be more males than men. Are you in Illinois too? Okay, fam. We definitely gonna have to link up one of these days. You already know. So yeah, so that's what's going on, right? At this point, based on what I just said, there isn't a lot of real men around. A lot of males out here, but not a lot of men. And guess what? Those same males are not going to tell you everything you need to know about submission in the way that I just did. So enough about me, enough about what I have to say. Let's talk about what Soul Immortal said on his video that he just did that was recent. And it's in my playlist. If y'all look in the playlist that I have, let me see, trying to see what was my history. Trying to see some, trying to find it. Okay, his most recent video he did at his channel was titled "The Truth About Women in Submission." So you'll see that in my playlist submission, you'll see that I have his video attached to that. And y'all can listen to what he said and then put that side by side with what I say. You feel me? And y'all can go from there. Yeah, but I'm gonna break down his video, his most recent one that he just did. So in that video he did, his main thing is like a lot of guys don't understand submission overall. You know, like even Sister Shahrazad Ali, she basically said submission is agreeing, which to a certain extent, I can understand what she means by that. I can understand what she means by that. But overall, just based on what I said about her putting herself under him, agreement or agreeing with him is just part of her putting herself under him. So it's not enough that she just agrees with you in regards to her submission. It's not enough that she's agreeing with you. That's great. Okay, you agree with me. Cool. Okay. But that's not enough. You know, that's just part of putting herself under you, you know. But if you actually look up just Google search submission, it means an act of presenting a proposal, application, or other documents of consideration or judgment. So that means that, once again, it goes back to what I said earlier about bringing something to you, presenting something to you. Like, she wants your thoughts, your touch, your guidance. You know, hey, what's good, Mosman? Salute to you as well, fam. Salute to you as well. You said Brown Life. The other Ray J, is the live stream that you were in with Black Ram recent? Yes, indeed. Like, given the date of this live stream, I'd say it was just a week ago. Real talk. Very recent. All right. So, but yeah, so let's just keep in mind what I just said about submission. Okay. Solomoto, from his standpoint of submission, in that video that he just did recently, and so y'all can check that out in my playlist titled "Submission." He said that his point of view about submission is, one, you allowing her to be in her full femininity. Now, what do we mean by full femininity? And so I kind of can understand what he meant by full femininity, but let's break this down even more. Because see, she can't be feminine without the masculine, you know? She can't be feminine without the masculine. You can be masculine without the feminine, but she can't be feminine without the masculine. Now, what do I mean by you can be masculine without the feminine? Now, you have the feminine within. So you can, in part, be masculine without the feminine, but it's not good that you go a long time without it. That's why in the scripture it said it's not good that a man should be alone. That doesn't mean he can't be alone. Now, with the masculine and the feminine, the masculine within her has to be activated. It's just a different cocktail there with her versus him, if you will. But yeah, from Solomorto's standpoint of you allowing her to be in her full femininity for submission in that video, he broke down at least that that doesn't mean that she's weak. But see, if the yang or the masculine is a dominant energy and the yin is a passive energy, the feminine, passive is weak. Okay, but that's her strength. Ladies, your weakness is your strength. As it says in the scripture, for he should love you as unto a weaker vessel. Okay, it's a strength. That's what a lot of people don't understand. So I am actually trying to think about some this other things, because um, about this idea of, you'll hear someone say, "Well, what about if y'all got to submit to one another?" That also says that you just brought up Ephesians earlier, the other Ray J, but also in Ephesians, it talks about submitting yourselves to one another in the fear of God. But then it also says, wives, submit yourselves unto your own husbands as unto the Lord. There's more to that, but I ain't gonna break that down. So it's not enough. So what it meant by submitting to one another in that scripture, it just means in regards to reciprocating, yielding to one another. So submission had a different word in that context. It wasn't meaning to stoop down to one another. Somebody got to be the head in this situation. Somebody got to be the leader in this situation. Basically, in that scripture, it just means to be reciprocal, to yield to one another, to be mindful and thoughtful of one another. But once again, based on reciprocation. If there's no reciprocation, there's no relation. We might as well stop the situation, especially if you already had sex with her and she's not reciprocating that. That's something she's not doing right, but that's another conversation. But even beyond the fact that you submit to one another based on reciprocation, it still adds that asterisk of, wives, submit yourself to one another. I mean, it says, wives, submit yourselves unto your own husband. Okay. So it's like, okay, you reciprocate, but you still have to submit to your husband on top of the reciprocation. It's no way around it. It's no way around it. But I just thought I wanted to put that out there before I break down more of this solar mortal talk, because you're gonna have the detractors that try to talk about, okay, what about submitting to one another? Okay, I just shut that down. So we're gonna continue on, right? So I brought up the first point of what Solar Mortal said in regards to submission. This idea of allowing her to be in her full femininity, but that doesn't mean that she's weak. So basically, I'm just saying that, not that I'm disagreeing with what Solar Mortal said, but she is made as the weaker vessel. She is the rib. She is the delicate. She's the feminine. She's the passive versus you being the dominant. She's the dark. You're the light. There's no way around that. But her weakness is her strength. I don't want a female that's strong. I don't want the feminine gender to be strong. I'm strong enough. I don't need someone else beside me that's strong. I'm strong enough. I want to feel something soft. I want to feel something that's sculpted like a Coke bottle, or like a nice guitar or a Stradivarius violin. She got to be shaped like a guitar or a violin. I'm just saying, because that's the full yin and the yang. Now, this is no disrespect to the rainbow community, but the yin and the yang are opposites. Okay, it's not that it's a counterpart, it's a counterbalance, it's a counterweight. That's for another discussion. But a lot of these relations aren't counterbalancing, they aren't counterweights. A lot of these relations out here are very unnatural. Thus, people have the unnatural way of looking at submission, and therefore they even see submission now as unnatural. I kid you not. Look out there on all these blogs. Outside of YouTube, people even see submission as unnatural nowadays, because people have gotten so far away from the natural order. So I just talked about the first point of what Solar Mortal said about allowing her to be in her full femininity. That doesn't mean she's weak, but I'm telling y'all that her weakness is her strength. Her being weak is good, but she understands what that means from her feminine perspective upon her being around my masculine. Now, the second point that Solar Mortal brought up in that video that he just did, given the date of this live stream, he brought up that she's like a car. Cars and the feminine gender, they kind of go hand in hand, I guess, right? So you got the engine, you got the transmission, and then you got the tank, because that's what he brought up. He said that she's like a car. And so you got her engine, you got her transmission, but you also got this tank. And I guess like with this tank, you got to keep it full. You know, you can have all this, but the car ain't gonna go nowhere if it got no gas in the tank. And so it's up to you to fill up that tank, right? That's what he said. So I'm like, okay, that's fine. Okay, we can that does make sense. You know, logically, that makes sense. The car ain't gonna go nowhere unless it has gas in the tank. Okay. But we're gonna continue on with this because there's more to this. There's definitely more to this. Now, keep in mind the whole car analogy based on what he's talking about. His third point to this idea of submission is her submission has nothing to do with attraction. He's saying that his masculinity has everything to do with her attraction, his masculine energy per se. That's what he said. But isn't that a natural force? A natural force of attraction? Like the feminine has to be attached to the masculine in order for this thing to reciprocate. There has to be a full feminine and there has to be a full masculine. This is what I mean by full femininity versus what he's saying about full femininity. Okay. So your dominant or your direction, as I like to say, has to line up with her passive and her docility, her humility. Why? Because your direction, your dominion has to have that counterweight, the counterbalance of her being willing of accepting your guidance. Her darkness has to be willing to accept your light. There's no other way around this. So to me, this is a natural attraction. But he's saying that it is not. But he is saying that despite of it not being a natural attraction in regards to submission, your masculine energy somehow is supposed to override all that, which I think is something else. I don't think it's submission. We're talking about a different conversation. When it's your masculine energy that has nothing to do with her being attracted to you, but somehow she's submitted to you. In that situation, she's not submitted to you. She's subdued by you. But that's for another conversation. But let me see what y'all said in the chat. And hopefully I've been sounding good so far. If so, put a 1 in the chat. I appreciate that. But man, I feel bad that it broke up, but we're going to edit that out. By the time you listen to this on a replay, whoever listening to this on a replay, it should be all edited out. You said ICE, theotherayj, RBI, exactly. You said Emma, I thought Black Rim agreed submission was not possible with the creatures. Oh yeah, he agreed with it. See, but that's the thing. Yeah, you just you don't try to get the creature to submit. You know, basically the feminine gender could be one of two ways. It could be, as I said earlier, beauty or the beast, beautiful or the beast. That's technically what it is, because you might have beauty, but it takes a man to make you beautiful. So if she is of the beast, she's never going to submit. And the only thing you can do with a beast is subdue it. You know, it makes you think a lot about your pet. Does it like you, or is it just trained by you? Does she really like you, fellas, or is she just trained by you? Is she programmed? Is she programmed by you? Did you run some game on her? Should I go there? Should I go there? Because that's what you get in a nutshell. See, I'm like, in regards to pets, I like dogs. I like cats. I can't say if I'm more of a dog person or a cat person, but I know one thing's for sure. I'm not bringing that dog or that cat home if that dog or cat does not like me. They say you have a better chance at coexisting with your pet based on how much it likes you versus how much you have trained it, how much game you've ran upon it. Food for thought, y'all. Food for thought. So yeah, in a nutshell, based on what Emma said, I kind of went off on another tangent. Hopefully not a tantrum. Yeah, let's keep going. Okay, and everybody's giving me a 1. Y'all saying I'm sounding good. Okay, right on, right on. Yes, indeed. Let's go. But I can say that in regards to what you're saying, Emma, because I know you're asking Ice a question. I'll leave that between you and Ice. But I can say in regards to female nature, because yours truly over here, I've never tried to understand female nature, you know, because female nature to me is a demon. And the last time I checked, you can get demon possessed. And the last time I checked, you got to rebuke a demon. You got to be an exorcist to a demon. So that's really all you can do when you do see a creature or the feminine gender acting like a creature instead of trying to be your feature. You got to rebuke that creature. You got to rebuke that demon. If you're trying to subdue that demon in whatever way, shape, or form, that's going to be a tricky avenue that I'm not trying to go down. I'd rather just rebuke it versus having to try to train it, rope it down, subdue it, whip it, BDSM the creature. Did I just say BDSM? Yes, I did. I'm leading to something else, but I'm not going to talk about that tonight. Oh, you already know, Golden Child, Chef Rayardee in the building, going to definitely be cooking. You already know. Oh, yeah, exactly, Ice. It definitely comes down to the cut of the man in regards to how you deal with the creature, if you even want to deal with the creature. That's the thing. You're dealing with a feminine gender, or actually, she's supposed to be dealing with you. I think with the creature, you're dealing with it. I just rather not deal with the creature. But yeah, there's definitely a way that the creature can be dealt with. Yeah, there's definitely a way the creature can be dealt with based on if it's willing to deal with you. You know, that's kind of what it comes down to. And that's actually how you can rebuke the demon or the creature out of that particular feminine gender that normally would not submit to you, you know, based on the fact that you would normally have to subdue that type of individual that's more in their they're more in their animal state. I can't really say animal. I'll just say demonic. Let's just keep it a buck. They're more in their satanic and demonic state. See, just bringing up the word submission is like you rebuking demons. It's like you putting garlic and water on a vampire. You say submission, you hear back, you know, because that word submission is, it has an omen to it. It has definitely an omen to it. Now, so I brought up the first 2 points of what Soul Immortal talked about. The first one, the first 2 points. The first point was allowing her to be in her full femininity, which I broke down. And then the second point about how he talked about her being like a car with the engine, the transmission, and the gas tank. And basically, I'm telling y'all to keep in mind this car analogy that he brought up as his second point. And then so I brought up the third point, which is him talking about how submission has nothing to do with her being attracted to you, or the fact that she's attracted to you doesn't mean she's going to submit. And she's only going to be submitted based on your masculine energy. But the last time I checked, the masculine, the full feminine has to be attracted to the full masculine. So you can't really take the word attraction out of the equation. You can't. You can't subtract attraction. You can't. Not in this equation of the feminine and the masculine. Otherwise, it's something else. It's not submission. It's subjugation. You know, it's subduing. That's what it is instead. But nobody's talking about it. But yours truly already has. Go on my playlist titled Submission. But to tie in more of what he's saying, because he kept talking about the masculine energy is going to get her to submit versus attraction. Now he's saying the way this works is he got to be, his masculine energy is based on him being the governor of his world, guiding and protecting those in his world, in ownership. Now, of course, y'all heard me say guiding earlier about guidance, but obviously I meant that from the standpoint of her being attracted to you versus him saying that, no, that's not the case. She just more or less sees that you're masculine. To me, that's not enough. She's got to be attracted to me. Because see, Marvin Gaye said, I want you to want me too, long before me too. And that'll help you not get a me too, because she should already want you like you want her, if you will. If it's not that, let it go. You don't want to deal with no hangups from that. She don't want you like you want her. Let her go. She's not ever going to be thinking about being submitted to you. Okay. But here's my thing based on what he said about this idea of masculine energy is going to make her submit. And it's not going to be that she's attracted to you. He said that you got to be the governor of your world, guiding and protecting those in your world and taking ownership of things. He said that those 3 points that represent your masculine energy that makes her submit is the thing that fills up her tank. That's going to make her go for you, if you will. That's what he said. Y'all look this up, check his video out. That's exactly what he said. But to me, the fact that that fills up her tank, all that masculine, whatever, for her to be attracted. See, you can have all that fill up her tank. You fill up her tank and she still won't go, then what? You can fill up a car, put gas in the car tank, but the car still won't go. Why? Because it broke down. Regardless of how much gas you put in the tank. Right now, I got a theotherayj DeVille. I got a sidecar, a hoopty on the side that got almost a full tank. And guess what? She won't go. Why? Because it has a blown head gasket. So it's not enough just to fill up her tank with just this masculinity. No. And to be honest, masculinity, that masculine energy does not fill up most of their tank because most of them don't want that masculine energy. Why? Because she's not into her feminine. She's not going to be feminine around your masculine because she doesn't feel feminine in the way that she should be. She feels more like the beast instead of the beauty. So a lot of this is to say that's kind of why the world does not understand submission, because it's deeper than people just making it seem like there's a stigma to it. It comes down to spiritual. It comes down to what's within. And mainly it comes down to this willingness. If she's not willing, there's no dealing, fellas. Ladies, if you're willing, guess what? You all good to go, ladies. All you got to be is willing, and that's obviously based on what? You being attracted to him. And the fact that you're showing willingness, that's a sign of submission right there. You're willing to be under him. You're willing to be under his head, if you will. You're willing to be docile. You're willing to be obedient, meaning you're willing to be dutiful. That's how you be beautiful around him. And that's also reflecting you being his helpmeet. Okay. Now, don't tell me being his helpmeet is based on her doing things for him and there's no attraction there. She has to want to help you. Now, when she's subdued, that's not her wanting to help you. That's you forcing her to do things for you. You forced her. There's no duty behind that. You forced her. What is another force? There's a financial force. Some people don't want to say there's a financial force. There is, Let's say if there's not a financial force there, because we could talk about, well, the high value man, the fact that he got all the 6-figure income that makes her want to submit to him. Sometimes, no, he don't need all that. He don't need all that. She's attracted to him. And let's say if it's based on what Solo Mortal said in regards to this masculine energy, what is it based on though? More than likely a trauma bond. They've been through something, whether it was abusive or they've both been through some type of hurt, right? So an attraction was there based on that, whether it was positive or negative. There's a trauma bond there. Some people call it struggle love. Well, whatever you want to call it, that's still her attraction. That's still her attraction. Some chicks would rather the trauma versus the struggle because the struggle is a little harder to deal with than the actual abuse. I've seen this firsthand. I've seen a lot of females that aren't women would rather be around the guy that's abusive versus struggling with yours truly. You see? Because they don't want to have to work hard. True love requires work. True love ain't easy. You got to earn it. That's what true love is. But people don't want to have to work for that. Part of that real submission. Okay. See, if she's not submitted to you, fellas, she's not showing you how much she really loves you. Her submission is an act of love. You see, love is a word. I mean, love is a verb. It's not just a word. Let's see. You said ice. Guys are now spineless weasels who move around like rodents. And see, weasels are rodents. So there you go. Facts. Let's keep rolling. Let's see what y'all saying. Even more. You said Brown do life, especially 99% of mainstream rappers slash R&B singers simping to the woman due to programming. And my bad, it looks like you was talking to Ice when you said that, but that's definitely true, you know, because they would rather be subdued. They want to be subdued. They don't want to submit. They would rather be subdued. You know, all this idea of even you pulling her hair in that erotic moment. She'd rather do that based on her being subdued because she has a lower vibration already. I could pull your hair, sweetie, but you might not like the vibration of my hand as it's pulling your hair. You want a lower vibration. See, and they all want that lower vibration, that trauma. A lot of them been through trauma. They don't want to go through the struggles. See, you're going to have to go through the struggle. In order to blossom, you got to go through some dirt. They don't want to go through the dirt, though. They don't. They want it the easy, they want it the easy way all day long. You said, Emma, if he works and you are a stay-at-home, she's more likely to submit. There is a financial force because he need to be a provider. And then you also said, Emma, and the women a nurturer for the children. But see, that's the key. Bingo, bingo. That's the key. What you just said. Not really that he's the provider, but the fact that she's the nurturer. And the fact that here's what happened. An environment that he made her to be a nurturer in, if you will. He's had, and it's not that he made this environment catering to her. No, it's even though some guys do that, you know what I'm saying? A guy will build a whole let me see. You'll get a guy that will build an ocean liner and name it after the woman that was in his life, and she will divorce him, and yet he still got the ship or the ocean liner named after her. That's for another story. You got guys that will build mansions and name it after the woman that was in their life, and she will still leave him. You can give her the whole world and she'll still blow it up if she's not trying to be a real woman in your life, fellas. Now, but yeah, that's the key, Emma. You know, it's not that he needed to be a provider. That's who he is. That's his life. She just became a part of his life. Okay. But the fact that he had an environment that she could nest in, because by nature, the feminine gender is a nester. She felt so comfortable in his environment that he had already for himself that she wanted to nest herself in it. Okay. And the fact that she could be a nurturer in that environment. So yeah, that's what's key. Like what you said, it's not really that he was actually the provider. It's more so that he's sharing his environment with her, and she liked his environment, so she nested in his environment, and now she's able to be a nurturer of the children that they procreate in his environment. So that's what it comes down to. You see, so because I believe, you know, me personally, it's like the lion's share. People don't talk about the lion's share, and I've talked about this before, but the lion shares what he's worked hard for, and that man feels the same way. You don't have to be a high value man. You just have to be someone that's worked hard for something, and you're not going to share that with everybody. See, you're not going to share that with everybody. So we got to get back to that. This idea that we expect a man to be a provider, to me, that's like, no, sweetie, he didn't have to share that with you. He worked hard for that. And you just have to appreciate that and show some of that appreciation by nesting, but not trying to get in his environment to ruin it. Because I've seen females that aren't women. They'll be in a man's home. She'll do something wrong or whatever the case. I don't know. He'll say, hey, you got to go get your stuff. He'll throw her stuff out, and she'll come right back in that same home of his with a garbage can full of fire and set his house on fire. And that we can't afford to have, fellas, in 2021 and beyond. Because that type of a feminine gender, she was never the type that's going to be submissive to you. And maybe, who knows, both sides of the masculine or the feminine both misunderstood submission. You know, it leads to all these arguments. And it shouldn't. Actually, submission should never lead to an argument. It only leads to an argument when she doesn't want to submit. If she's not trying to understand what it means to submit, guess what? She's not being submissive even from that standpoint. Because part of submission is agreeing, right? Just like with what Shahrazad Ali said that I mentioned earlier. She's not trying to agree with what you mean by submission, especially if you've checked out my content here at this channel. Because you're going to get submission like you've never heard anybody else talk about submission. So run and tell that to your girl. Ladies and gentlemen, run that to your girl. Talk to them about this submission. And if they don't want to talk about submission, they're definitely not the submission type. And yeah, fellas, and yeah, ladies as well. If you run across a guy that disagrees with any of my points about submission, guess what? He doesn't even know what it's like to have someone in his life that's truly submissive. But you said this, Emma, you said, I don't understand. So is the finances 50-50 or is the man the breadwinner? That's a good question. Yeah, I don't do the 50-50. That's one thing I don't do. And men should never do 50-50. Because if it's about the yin and the yang, you being the masculine and the dominant, and she's the passive, you're the director, and she's the docile, it should be more of you and less of her. No 50-50. Now, I do believe in 100-100, because y'all both keeping it 100. That's based on reciprocation. But the breadwinner, that's a good idea. Like what I mean by that, Emma, is when you bring up breadwinner. Okay. Now I know what it means about breadwinner. You know, we hear this term all the time, and I guess that's because he's the provider. You know, it kind of goes back to that. But as I just said, a man technically doesn't provide. He shouldn't provide. He should only share what he's worked hard for. So the idea of a breadwinner is usually meaning that, you know, you're the sole income earner in the household. So I guess, yeah, from your perspective, Emma, I guess I see what you mean from that standpoint of him being a breadwinner. But see, but don't look at it that way. What I mean by this is you're just wanting to be part of what he's worked hard for. You're supporting him. You're not looking at the money aspect of it. You know, you're looking at the support aspect of it. You're looking at how, based on your support and you're helping him, he got you. He's looking at you. Because guess what? He may not always have the money. But guess what? Based on you keeping it 100 with him, you can actually help him get the money. Because you see him as still the man in your life, the dominant, the leader, the director. When he fall down, you help him get up. So you got a lot of these females that aren't women. They ain't gonna even submit to a man if he loses his job, if he falls short on money, or if he can't pay his bills. She'll leave him. The sad thing is, for most of them, that ain't how you got with them. We know how you got with them. Those late night sessions, bed squeaking. Yeah, it wasn't about the money then, but all of a sudden they want to make it about the money now. It's crazy. It's crazy. That's why you got to walk in the spirit, fulfill not the lust of the flesh. And this idea of, like I said, with submission, it goes back to the spirit. It goes back to spiritual. You can't be moved by the lust of the flesh, and you can't be moved by the size of a wallet. Because it seems like those are the only two ways folks are going to talk about submission. It's going to be based on how much money somebody got, or how much he packing, how wet she is, how tight she feels, all that crazy stuff, which all that stuff over time is just superficial. You're going to get old. You're not going to be balling like you used to be. Okay. What brought y'all together? What keeps y'all together? Now, see, that embodies really this full idea of submission, because it's beyond all this worldly stuff that we see before our eyes. You know, you have to really get to the point of where, you know, you are so inspired that, ladies, you want to be there for him. The fact that you want to be there for him is an act of submission. That's what's been missing. And so, fellas, if she's not trying to be that way, if she's not submissive, she's dismissive at best. Hopefully this live made sense to some. Maybe this live did not make sense to others. But to the others that this live made sense to, feel free to hit that like button, especially those listening to this on the replay. And if this is your first time coming to my channel and you like my content, whether it is my uploads or my live stream, just know that there's definitely more in store, especially with the live streams, because it seems like a lot of people want me to go live. So we definitely going to turn it up, but definitely still more uploads in store. So make sure that you subscribe, share this live, as well as my other content at this channel. Just look at my archives. You'll see that I have an extensive playlist, okay? If you ever want to reach me, that should be in the description section. For those listening to this on the replay, you'll see my email. That way you can reach me. You'll also see other channels that I have, and make sure that you subscribe to those other channels. I have other platforms outside of YouTube, that I'm on. You can catch me on IG. Make sure you follow me on IG. If you want to tip yours truly, make sure that you check on my PayPal. That's also in the description section for those listening to this on the replay. Yeah, for those listening to this on the replay, you'll see that in the description section. And as Golden Child has been posted, I appreciate that, Golden Child, by the way. Thank you so much for your support. Yeah, check out those links that are in the comment section, in the chat, for those that are checking me out live now. If you want to tip yours truly, like I said, it's no expectation, no obligation, just appreciation. That's why I call it a tip, you know. But appreciate everybody for stopping by, you know. But yeah, I've definitely got more live streams coming up. Definitely more coming up. So I'm gonna crank it up for y'all, given the date of this live stream. I got some more on the way. I did reset one back. I was gonna talk about cheating, but I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna push that one off because it's gonna be hot like fire when it's ready to come out the oven. Just like what Golden Child said, drop, player. Yeah, you already know, fam. Yeah, we definitely got something coming out the oven even more. We definitely do. But yeah, everybody that was here, Golden Child, Brown Do Life, Emma, Absalon, Wando, can't forget the honorary Ice Turner. Let's see who else was up in here. Let me see. Oh yeah, Coca. Can't forget about Coca. She was up here. Polo. Hey, what's good, Polo? Mosman. Yeah, I see y'all up in the building. So and anybody I miss, just know I didn't mean to, and know that I got much love for you. And I'll definitely catch y'all on the next one. And make sure that, oh yeah, whether you're new to this channel or not, and you just haven't done this yet, make sure that you hit the notification bell so that you get all of my uploads in real time. And just keep in mind that no matter what it's looking like out there, it's only getting better from here. Not that it's only going to get better from here. It's only getting better from here. It really is. So there's another live stream coming up in a few days. Most definitely. Given the date of this live stream, So until next time, look forward to seeing y'all on the next one. Signing out. Much love. Thanks for stopping by.